Hello guys, and welcome back to Bad Anime Takes. In today's video I wanted to cover what makes a great antagonist. So let's get right into it. Throughout my years of watching anime, I've seen many shows I've liked, disliked, and even more I hated. But once you watch a good number of shows, you really start to understand the type of things you like to see versus the things you hate to see. To me, character writing and development have always been the centerpiece of any show. If I like the characters of a show, then it doesn't really matter what's happening plot-wise. Whether the characters are in a shonen, slice-of-life, comedy, romance, or even an isekai setting, I know that these characters that I enjoy watching are going to be there on screen, and I can enjoy the ride along with them. The plot itself kind of becomes second-hand to what the characters are, in that I'm more interested about what a character will do in a situation rather than the situation itself. And while most manga authors put a lot of thought and effort into their main characters, there's a character which is even more important to think about, which is sadly ignored a lot of the time. Talking of course about the antagonist. So what makes a good antagonist? To answer this, I think the best way would be to list out popular anime villains and analyze them to see what makes them appealing to most people. I'll start off with an antagonist I think most people will agree is really well written, and that's Oikawa from Haikyuu. But wait, Oikawa isn't a villain, is he? It's pretty important to distinguish the two early on. While an antagonist is usually also the villain, it's not necessarily the case. Antagonist is really someone who's against or in the way of the protagonist. In this case, while Oikawa isn't really evil per se, he really is the biggest hurdle to jump over in the first two seasons of Haikyuu. So what makes Oikawa a great antagonist? If I had to list one reason, it's probably purpose. Oikawa isn't there just to play volleyball and have fun with friends. He wants to prove himself and make it to the top. Karasuno is just really another stepping stone for him. And I think this really defines one of the core details of what makes a good antagonist. A character's basis for existence shouldn't really be to purely hurt the main character. They need to have their own drive and passion to stand alone as a character. Now we can't talk about Oikawa without talking about his personality. He's usually acting quite silly on screen, but that makes the times when he gets serious very striking. He's very crafty and cunning, and though he usually appears silly and he's flirting with girls and such, underneath he's very intelligent. These attributes overall make him very fun to watch as a character. Wrinkle in his underdog story and you can't help but love this guy. Compared to an antagonist personality that revolves around "I'm evil," Haikyuu writes a deeply interesting character with his own goals and aspirations. His own good and bad sides. His own purpose to exist. He doesn't exist for the plot. He's simply a person it revolves around. This complexity adds an extra layer to the story that makes it much more real to an audience and sucks them into the world. Now for the second character I'd like to examine, that is L from Death Note. As with the case with Oikawa, L isn't evil. If anything, he's the good guy. And that's gonna be a common theme in all antagonists. If he lacks depth and can be written off as the evil guy, it's probably not a great character. So what makes L such an interesting character? Well, for one, it's all the information that's hidden about him in the beginning. L is a very intelligent character. He's a detective that no one has seen the face of, or that is the case at least near the beginning. As the story progresses, we learn more and more about who L really is. The author really brings in details about the character to bring him to life. He really likes sweets, hates wearing socks, sits in a weird position, because if he sits otherwise his intelligence reduces by 40%. These details really make the character unique and help breathe life into them. Now the last antagonist I want to discuss is actually a villain, which is Meruem from Hunter x Hunter. This is probably my personal favorite antagonist of all time. I think Meruem encapsulates everything that made Hunter x Hunter, especially the Ant arc, so amazing. Evolution, no pun intended. Meruem starts out as a pretty basic villain, killing people left and right with little regard. As the king, he has a huge superiority complex, something not too uncommon in a lot of other villains. But what makes Meruem so great, in my opinion, is how he's developed as a character as the arc goes on. Komugi was introduced as a character to challenge Meruem's superiority complex. The way Meruem evolved slowly but surely over the Ant arc was quite phenomenal to see. But Hunter x Hunter also does a very interesting thing on top of this. The author also contrasts this with Gon's own evolution throughout the arc. While we see Meruem's transition from pure evil into good, we also see Gon's descent from pure good to evil. Contrast of these two characters brought both out to a whole new level.
小麦を直せ。頼んだぞ。
And those are the three main characters I wanted to cover for the analysis today. Oikawa, which represents purpose, L, who represents details and uniqueness, and Meruem, who represents evolution. I think these are the three biggest factors in writing a good antagonist, and probably a character overall. But please, if you disagree with me, feel free to leave a comment down below as to why I'm wrong. And with that being said, that's it for today's video. Like if you liked it, dislike if you disliked it, subscribe if you want to see more, and I'll see you guys next time. Bad Anime Takes, signing out.
Enjoy yourself, enjoy yourself.